So let's just take the shots. Read it all day. It is Tuesday, January 13th. I'm here in front of the editorial offices of the Gazette at 1010 St. Catherine Street West. And I'm just doing a little protest against the fact that Sue Montgomery, the Gazette's justice reporter, has refused to do what I consider to be a newsworthy story about the fact that the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations in Boston hired Stikeman Elliott Barristers Solicitors litigation lawyer Maitre Marc-André Coulombe to falsely accuse me of the archaic crime of blasphemous libel in Bill Cosby style legal bullying. That seeks to cover up and hide the fact that certain Unitarian Universalist ministers, use a choice phrase of Maitre Coulombe, are guilty of engaging in such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape. I'm just going to go and fix that ticket sign and tell that. So my protest is about the fact that not only Sue Montgomery herself, in her capacity as the Gazette's justice reporter, has refused to do this story, but also the Gazette, as an institution, as a newspaper, has also, to date, never reported this story. When Sue Montgomery refused to do the story, I did approach the Gazette city desk and so on, asking them to do the story, and they never did it. They found all kinds of excuses for not doing the story. So, as I said, my protest is against that fact. The fact that Sue Montgomery and the Gazette never reported the fact that the Unitarian Universalist Association congregations has falsely accused me of the archaic crime of blasphemous libel for allegedly, and I do say allegedly, making unfounded and vicious allegations to the effect that ministers of the association engage in such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape. That's an exact quote from the legal letter that I was served with in June of 2012. I responded to that letter by telling Maitre Coulombe, excuse me, I'm having considerable difficulty finding blog posts that match your description of unfounded vicious allegations, etc., etc., etc. And I asked Maitre Coulombe to please identify the blog post that he was claiming contained unfounded and vicious allegations to the effect that ministers of the association engage in such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape. I said, please give me the blog title, please give me the URL, please give me the date, please give me something other than your broad accusation here so that I can go and look and see what's in those blog posts and determine whether or not the allegations in them are actually unfounded and vicious, as he claimed. So I sent one of my initial responses. I think the second email that I sent to Maitre Coulombe was, please identify these blog posts. He arrogantly wrote back that my claims not to be able to find blog posts matching his description were not credible. In other words, not believable. In other words, I was lying to him. That's what he was saying. Rob and Edgar, you're a liar when you tell me you can't find these blog posts. That's what he's saying. Well, no. My position was and still is that the blog posts on the Emerson Adventure blog that do speak about Unitarian pedophiles or rapists or rapists are entirely truthful. They're not unfounded at all. They're based on newspaper reports about Unitarian Universalists who were actually convicted of such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape. There's nothing the least bit unfounded about them. And so I said that to Maitre Coulombe. I said, cough it up, show me where these unfounded allegations are, and I'll deal with it. Well, to date, Maitre Coulombe has not identified one single The Emerson Avenger blog post that actually contains unfounded and vicious allegations to the effect that members of the association engage in such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape. But on top of that, he hasn't even identified those blog posts which he pretended contain unfounded and vicious allegations, yada, yada, yada. Well, that might be because he's the liar here. It might be because he was not being truthful when he said that my blog posts about Unitarian Universalist pedophiles and rapists were unfounded. You know, Maitre Coulombe was in a position to determine for himself whether or not my blog posts actually were unfounded and vicious before he sent me that arrogant and aggressive cease and desist demand letter accusing me of blasphemous libel. I had seen that someone from Stikeman Elliott Barristers Solicitors was visiting the Emerson Avenger blog post in the weeks prior to receiving that cease and desist demand letter. So he or someone else at Stikeman Elliott did look at the blog. They did read the blog post. The blog posts make it pretty clear that I'm talking about people who were convicted of rape. Hi.
Hi. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the fact that Sue Montgomery, the Gazette's justice reporter, and the Gazette as a newspaper, never reported the fact that the Unitarian Universalist Association, which is a religious community, falsely accused me of the crime of blasphemous libel because I'm talking about pedophiles and rapists in their religious community.
I see. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So this young lady engaged in a free and responsible search for the truth and meaning of my picket sign. She saw the picket sign. She asked what it was about. I told her what it was about. She probably was somewhat surprised. She seemed somewhat surprised. Seemed perhaps a little bit in denial. But she nonetheless engaged in what Unitarian Universalists call a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. And I say that anyone who bothers to actually engage in a genuinely responsible search for the truth and meaning of what I'm saying about Reverend Mac W. Mitchell, about Richard Buell, about Stephen Craig Bullite, about Unitarian Universalist clergy sexual misconduct in general, about Sue Montgomery and her refusal to report what I consider to be a newsworthy story, about the Gazette's refusal to report what I consider to be a newsworthy story, will agree that, oh yeah, Robin's right. And if Stikeman Elliott Barristers Solicitors litigation lawyer, or for that matter Mark Abley, the media lawyer that Sue Montgomery ostensibly hired to accuse me of libeling her for telling the truth about her, if they engage in a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, they never would have sent me those letters. Those letters contain falsehoods. Those letters contain what can be reasonably considered to be outright lies. They certainly contain quite a lot of what I call legalistic bullshit. And the only purpose of those cease and desist demand letters is to try and get me to shut up. And not only shut up, but to remove from the internet existing blog posts that tell the truth. Blog posts that tell the truth about Reverend Mac Wallace Mitchell. Blog posts that tell the truth about Richard Buell. Blog posts that tell the truth about Sue Montgomery and the Gazette. So it's unfortunate, but if the two lawyers in question had lived up to the fourth principle of Unitarian Universalism, they never would have sent me those letters, because they would have determined for themselves that, well, no, actually Robin's telling the truth, so there's no point accusing him of blasphemous libel or ordinary libel or so on. I'm just going to check the timeline on the video here. Okay, there's still plenty of time left. So I've been here for more than half an hour. Police haven't showed up yet. The Gazette security person asked if I'd received a letter demanding that I stay away or stay off the premises of the Gazette. I've not received any such letter, but she's obviously aware. Something in her mind got her to believe that someone at the Gazette had told her. Well, maybe Sue Montgomery did. I wouldn't put it past Sue Montgomery at all to falsely tell the security guard that, that guy Robin Edgar, like, make sure he doesn't come in the building, blah blah blah. I sent a letter, or he was sent a letter telling him not to come to the premises, when in fact that's not true. I wouldn't put that past Sue Montgomery at all. After all, Sue Montgomery falsely accused me of libeling her when I'm doing no such thing. So as far as I'm concerned, Sue Montgomery's a liar. Sue Montgomery ostensibly hires Mark Abley, although I think it might be the Gazette itself hired Mark Abley on Sue Montgomery's behalf, unless he did it on a pro bono publico basis. I mean, maybe Mark Abley just did it for free as a favor to Sue Montgomery. I don't know if he was paid for that letter or not, but if he was paid, the question is, well, who's paying the bill here? Is it Sue Montgomery paying the bill, or is it the Gazette? Because if it's the Gazette, then the Gazette is partially responsible for falsely accusing me of libeling Sue Montgomery. The Gazette is behind that cease and desist demand letter. That doesn't say very much about the Gazette, does it? So I don't know one way or the other who specifically